Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
I don't even know where to begin as a Flames fan when talking about this team, what we just saw tonight, and the direction going forward. This is seemingly something that you're gonna experience it. You're gonna experience Calgary Flames fans tonight. You're gonna get the full effect in the chat. There's gonna be lots of good stuff going on there. Anyways, welcome to Game Over Calgary. My name is Auddie James, and I'm sad. I'm just sad. I'm sad tonight. It's not been a good one. Joining me tonight is Annie O'Donnell, Ducks fan, content creator, connoisseur. Add whatever word you want to put into it. Lots of great content, and we're gonna get some Ducks insight on what we just saw tonight, because we were both talking about it before we hit live, that we're both a little sour. We both got a bit of a bitter taste in our mouths from what we just saw tonight, and we'll get into it on today's episode of Game Over Calgary. Coming on the heels of a Calgary Flames loss to the Anaheim Ducks in regulation. I think that's the worst part too. The Flames couldn't even muster out a point out of tonight's game, but we'll get into it. Hey, want to bet? Then get in on the action with Sports Interaction. The boys of summer are back on the diamond, and March Madness is on deck, and we already have some baseball chat in the Game Over Calgary chat right now, and one comment is directed at you. We'll get into it in a second here. Bet pregame, live and play, or on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN, or if you're in the province of Ontario, there's going to be a little QR code right here on your screen. Scan that, and you can download the Sports Interaction app to get in on the action. 19 plus, please play responsibly. And if you or anybody you know has any gambling problems or issues with gambling, please be sure to check the YouTube description and the show notes if you're listening on playback for some resources there for you to get help with that. Okay, I'll read the baseball comment real quick, because I think I don't know where your baseball allegiances stand, if I'm being brutally honest.
Okay, fair enough.
So Noah Adler says, so Yankees Dodgers World Series. Is that?
Can you guess can you guess from that comment where my baseball allegiance lies?
I'm gonna guess not the Yankees.
Correct.
Is it a California team that isn't the Dodgers?
It is not.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess. Oh God, the Angels.
Well, you said it's a California team that isn't the Dodgers, and I said no.
Isn't the Dodgers? So it is the Dodgers. Am I just?
It is the Dodgers,
okay, I was gonna
yes.
say am I having a brain? Like, you're allowed to say it. Like, Auddie, you're being an idiot.
No. Noah
Okay.
and I go back and forth on Yankees Dodgers stuff all the time.
Of course,
so
it wouldn't
it's
be
pretty standard comment to come from Noah. But yes,
it wouldn't be a Game Over Calgary show without Noah talking about the Yankees in the comments. We love you, Noah. But it's Game Over Calgary, not Game Over Yankees. We need to get that through your head. It's Game Over Calgary.
I'm curious how I need to ask him how he became a Yankees fan. I mean, I guess in Canada you only have one baseball team. Oh, you had the Expos for a while.
We had the Expos for a little bit, but the Blue Jays. That's my team. I'm going to be down there. My fiance and I are planning a trip. We're going to Dodger Stadium in July to see the Blue Jays take on the Dodgers. It's going to be my first time at Dodger Stadium, so we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, you're gonna love it. It's got that retro feel. It
looks like it. Yeah.
It's still very 50s, 60s vibe. I'm biased because it's my home ballpark, of course, but I absolutely love it. The charm there. They've put in some upgrades too to make it a little fancier, but just the retro vibe it has. It's not like Fenway or Wrigley, if you've been there, where it's like that classic ballpark, you go down the steps and you step up onto the field, but it's still very special. Ignore what the Padres fans and everybody else have to say about it when they say it's trash. They don't know what they're talking about.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, because as it stands right now, I've only ever seen games in Toronto. So it's a bucket list to get outside of the country and go see. Like, I'm people. A lot of people who have known me for a while know that I'm a bigger baseball fan than I am hockey fan, which is surprising to most. But I definitely want to get to some more ballparks. And Dodger Stadium, we're going to be able to check that off in July. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
There you go. I love it.
We had to start the show off with something positive coming from me, because it's going to be, I'm going to forewarn everybody, from my side, and I'm going to say probably from your side too, because I know you're not thrilled with the win, which is surprising, but not surprising. Not a lot of good things from Calgary Flames land tonight. I put a few pregame notes together, just like thoughts coming into it. For the Calgary Flames, who are clawing their way into the playoffs, it's going to be an uphill battle. We know that. From the outside looking in, they still are on the outside looking in. And, this could have been, and again, all due respect, this isn't me shitting on the Ducks, but a bottom feeder team coming into your barn where, you're kind of hitting the ground running here these past couple games. You're making some traction. You're showing some good signs heading into a potential playoff race and getting hot at the right time heading into the playoffs. A bottom feeder team comes into your barn. This should have been a game for the Flames where they thwomped the Anaheim Ducks. Did this not have the makings to be, hey, this is like a 5-1, a 6-2 game, like just an absolute beating where you kind of get everything rolling, you get that confidence back, but instead it's kind of the other way around.
No, I mean, you're kind of hearing you talk about it, and I mean, I hate to say it, but just a night for John Gibson, nonetheless.
Yeah.
That's the man that kind of stopped. I mean, without John Gibson making some of the saves that he did and standing on his head the way he did, I mean, it's probably a different result in a lot of cases. But I mean, kind of on the other side of the coin, you see, the Ducks their blue line just absolutely disintegrates at the trade deadline with the loss of John Klingberg and Dmitry Kulikov, and already low expectations. Most of the fans are already bought in on the tank for the most part. You take 2 points when you can get them in exciting wins, but for the most part, fan bases are rooting for the tank for Bedard. So in a game where, hey, you look at the odds for Calgary against Calgary, I think it was my birthday when last time we played Calgary. It was that overtime win on the 23rd of December. And which, of course, Ducks couldn't win on my birthday, but they could win tonight. So when the Bedard race is just getting heated up, but of course, Chicago has to lose in overtime tonight against the Panthers. So that doesn't make things better for us. So it like you said, it's like on two opposite sides. Like we're both kind of got a sour taste in our mouths for completely different reasons, which I hate being that way because it's funny because I've never been a fan of a team where I've actively rooted for a tank. Like, never. And that's maybe a privilege as a sports fan. I mean, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a Dodgers fan. Which, granted, in the MLB draft, I've never been like, I feel like it's just not a thing.
It's
unless
different.
you have
different.
A Mike Trout kind of, you're not going like tank for Major League Baseball. But it's very different this year where I'm like, so I should be happy about losses? Like, this is rude. But then you think, long-term picture. You think about what's at stake here. You think about the young guys that the Ducks have currently and all the guys that are coming up through the system. And you think, okay, we're thinking long-term here. We're not thinking, hey, maybe win a couple, maybe get outside of a wild card spot and make progress. No. We don't want that. We want to, with a high draft class like this, we want to make it count. But, I mean, games like this, and obviously John Gibson has been the topic of trade discussion, it feels like, for the last 4 or 5 years. And, of course, talks strangely started to heat up, which typically they do around the trade deadline. Like 3-4 weeks ago, I think Friedman was like, yeah, I could see them, shopping him around a little bit, which it's funny because Verbeek literally last week was like, not really. Like, you need a number one goaltender to compete in this league. Like, I'm not going to trade him. But, of course, John Gibson has just played outstanding for the most part these last 3 weeks. Just found some new life in him at that. Maybe he's just, he's a guy that has the capability of carrying this team and has not even the capability. He has done it for years now with being painfully outshot. I mean, what were the shot totals tonight? I think 35 and 16.
Too much for the Flames and too little goals, which has kind of been like the story of the Flames all year. Like they've always been kind of ranging in that top 3 for shots, like average shots per game, but their shooting percentage, and people who are watching are going to hear me beat the drum of the Flames shooting percentage yet again, because there's a clear bad relationship there when you're getting that many shots in a game. And I know that, like, Gibson stood on his head tonight, and I even put in my notes, Gibson starts and can steal this game. That was my note. Like, he can steal this game. And I don't think he did. I think the Flames played painfully bad in addition to Gibson standing on his head. So there was a combination of factors there for Calgary. But
Yeah.
a team that's among the league's best in, average shots per game, when your shooting percentage is among the bottom 3 in the NHL, what does that tell you? Like the Flames get a lot of shots, and I think that's what a lot of people who don't follow the team as closely, they look at that, they're like, oh shit, the Flames like put up 53 shots against Boston and still lost. Like, what's going on? And it's that shooting percentage. It's those perimeter shots with no traffic in front, low danger chances. It's kind of been the story all year, and it was the story tonight too. They didn't really generate too much from too dangerous of an area. And that's just kind of been something that, like I said, it's been the story all year. Flames fans are accustomed to it now. So it's Gibson played great. I don't want to take away from that. Like, he did. He played incredible. He made some great saves, especially late in that third period when the Flames kind of started to press and they started to generate a little bit more offensive zone time, and they kept the play alive in the O zone. He was there when the Ducks needed him to be, or if you, in your case, didn't want him to be. But I don't want to take away from that. But the Flames are notorious for getting all those shots off, but not translating it into much else than just a tally on the old shot clock.
I think I can count the number of times on one hand in the last maybe 3 seasons that the Ducks have led in shots in any kind of game. Like, literally, it just never, being painfully outshot. That's just Ducks hockey, baby. Like,
Yeah.
and it always, even when the wins do happen, it's always when it's like, all right, 15 shots on goal and they got 3 goals. I'm like, see what happens when you shoot the puck though, like, and have good quality shots on goal.
Yeah,
funny how that works.
And that's the old Daryl Sutter way. And he was an advisor with the Ducks for a while there before he came back to Calgary. It's get those shots on goal. Good things happen. We'll see, but
isn't Bob Murray an advisor for the Flames now? Interesting.
He is.
We're not going to open that
and
can
we
of worms.
We have a general manager here whose contract is up at the end of the season, and I wonder who might. I'm not gonna get down that rabbit hole.
Don't go there.
It's scary times here in Calgary. We don't know what the hell's going on. I don't think they know what's going on.
Just after the summer of Brad, I was rooting. Ugh.
The summer of Brad, which turned into, holy shit, these guys they brought in, like, Huberdeau's not having the year he had. I think a lot of it, and Flames fans will talk about it too, a lot of it stems from the man behind the bench who was able to bring out the best in Gaudreau, but maybe not the best in Jonathan Huberdeau and guys like Nazem Kadri. But after the summer of Brad, we're kind of in this state where it's like, so what was that? Like, lose your 2 best guys, you kind of save it, you stay competitive, and then this happens. So one thing I wanted to bring up too from a Flames, getting back to the shooting percentage thing. In their last 4 home games coming into this, their shooting percentage, 3.5%. 3.5% in their last 4 home games. And my only note on that in my notes app, my handy dandy, I always take notes and try to come prepared. These shows always go off the rails, but I try to come prepared. The only note I have for that is not fucking good at all.
Not good.
Not good. So yeah, this was a game that was winnable for the Flames. It had the makings coming into it. Just thinking about it, I mentioned it off the top. Like, how good would it be for the Flames to just dominate in this game and, a decisive victory, all odds, against them leading into these past few games where everybody's like, oh, they didn't sell at the deadline. They're just going to be stuck in the middle once again. They gain a little bit of ground. They win a couple games, and then they blow this one. They have the easiest schedule in the NHL for the rest of the season, and these are the games you got to win. In games where the bottom 5, bottom 10 teams in the NHL, they just can't. They can't seem to win, and those are the games. You need to gain ground on. These are the schedule, the free space on the bingo card, if you will. Like, I put that in air quotes because everybody said that about Ottawa during the COVID season, and they had the Flames number that entire year. Yeah, sorry. Just seeing some of the comments here. Yeah, the score was 3-1 Anaheim. Forever Flame Derek Grant sealing the deal with the empty netter there late in the third period. But yeah, it's I'm running, Annie. I'm running out of things to say for this Calgary Flames team, who are just stuck in this perpetual mediocrity of just being in the middle, never getting a high draft pick, never really making it too deep in a playoff run. And at this point in the year, like, I've covered so many losses and so many heartbreaks. I made this guy and put it on my head for a couple games. I made the old paper bag Flames fan. What was the name? Somebody named it. Oh God, what is it here? I gotta find it. Sir Bagalos. So this is Sir
Bagalos.
Sir Bagalos has made an appearance too many times this season, and I'm slowly but surely running out of words to explain my feeling to this for this Calgary Flames team.
Sometimes though, it's like the losses like this that really, like, sometimes for some teams, like, really, like, seep in. They're like, this is like, oh my God, is this who we are? Mm-hmm. And then they just kind of turn it around from there. So hey,
it's too late.
Like,
do you think it's too late?
I don't think it's too late.
No,
it's never too late.
But like they've suffered these kind of losses more often than not. These heartbreaking, like I said, and again, I'm not shitting on the Ducks, but like bottom of the barrel teams who are in the Bedards.
you can shit on the Ducks. It's okay. We shit on the Ducks all the time.
Closer to the Bedard sweepstakes than they are the playoff sweepstakes. We'll say that, and take that for what it's worth. They've lost those games. Like, they're losing these games.
Way to say it.
I'm trying to be nice. Y'all have been through a lot. But like, the first period for both sides, boring ass low event hockey. Not quite the start that I thought the Flames were gonna get, and they were tested early. Like, the Ducks pressed them pretty early in this game, and I think the Flames responded pretty well. But like, still just the boring low event hockey. Their foot speed was at an all-time low. Like, you could tell against a team like the Ducks, who have young up-and-comers. They play with a lot of speed, I think, compared to the Flames, but they just couldn't keep up. Did you see it the same from a Flames perspective? Like, they just couldn't quite match the speed, and the youth were kind of taking over there for the Ducks a little bit?
A little bit. It also felt like they really couldn't get a lot generating out of the neutral zone there, kind of trying to come in there. Like, it just kind of seemed, I'm not sure really. I was trying to look and kind of be like, okay, like, I don't know. The Ducks defense is not stellar, so I knew it wasn't. I'm not going to give them too much credit there. But it just kind of felt like they really couldn't get much going there. And then just, I don't know, a lot of teams, I find, like, when they play the Ducks, you kind of see where they are in the standings. You see the year they've had. Maybe they kind of underestimate them and say, all right, we don't really, not to say they don't have to try hard, because you assume these professional athletes come out every night playing their best, knowing that, hey, 2 points are earned, not given, no matter who you're playing. But maybe kind of slow to start, and you kind of just, especially after that first power play goal and the Ducks getting that goal. When did was it Comtois got that screen goal? That got that first screen goal. That was what, 60 something, like just over a minute after that goal happened. Yeah. And then from there, just kind of couldn't get that momentum going. And like you said, in the third period, they really were able to put a lot of pressure on John Gibson and be back in the Ducks zone. But it just really felt like couldn't get that foot speed, like you said. So for me, because it's disappointing for me, not even listen, I'm not going to pretend like we haven't had our rough go as between fan bases back. What was that streak where the Flames didn't win how many games?
Too many. We don't talk about that. No. We
won't talk about it. I'm sorry.
Soft spot. It's only freshly broken, the streak, but it's still
That's
a soft
true.
spot.
It was what, 3-4 years ago that was broken?
It was
pretty recent.
I'm pretty sure it was either this year or last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think it was this year.
It was recent. Okay, maybe it was last year.
Yeah.
It had to have been.
Somebody in the chat.
Chat will correct me as they do. Chat will correct me as they do. But it was recent. Like, I'm pretty sure it was. I could be wrong. I could be completely up to lunch. But I think this thing stemmed back a long time ago. But
But Calgary, honestly, the Flames were one of my favorite teams to watch last season. So that kind of to see, and you can attribute it to the loss of Kachuk and Gaudreau, but to just kind of see this, I mean, not I don't want to go as far to say a decline,
Oh,
but
it's a decline.
it's so disappointing. I mean, you have Jacob Markstrom that had a Vezina finalist caliber year. Now he's I wouldn't go as far to say mediocre, but definitely coming back kind of down to earth and down to where his baseline is. I think a lot of people were shocked by that.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say, listen, I was very happy for him for his high play, but there was a lot of, I think people a lot of recency bias as far as like ranking him as far as overall league goaltender
Yeah.
rankings. I think that definitely plays a tribute to it. But do you think I guess my question to you is like, when you look at the difference, and I want to say Kachuk and Gaudreau aside, because that's a no-brainer. That's gonna change your team regardless. Like, what's been the biggest difference? What's been the biggest factor as far as this performance this year?
Yeah, the Kachuk and Gaudreau factor were definitely huge. Markstrom, like the Flames didn't like the Flames haven't had, and to say that Markstrom declined, I think is a gross understatement. He has been abysmal up until like the past few weeks. I would even say the past couple of weeks. It's funny, and I'm not like maybe I'm overthinking it, but like his fiance had their baby, and now all of a sudden he's like a different man. And maybe it was just like the stress of the outside world, like don't know what's going on, making sure family guy and all that stuff, and that they have a healthy baby, they have his fiance's healthy, which we love to see. Maybe there's a little bit of stress off the shoulders, a little bit of weight release there. But yeah, he like the Flames have struggled to get consistent goaltending this year. Vladar's been streaky. Markstrom hasn't been good. No finish. Like you take away Gaudreau and Kachuk, who were the drivers of the offense last year. Like they put up astronomical numbers that nobody on this team this year will even come close to. They were drivers of the offense, and they always had it in them. I think Sutter, kind of brought out more of that like 200-foot game out of both of them, which was nice. But the offense was always there, so they always had that. You take those two guys out, a lot of people were kind of claiming or hoping for like the accelerated rebuild or retool on the fly, gain some draft capital with those two. But instead, Tree decides that he wants to stay competitive. He brings in Huberdeau, he brings in Uyghur. They go get Kadri, and everybody's like, oh great, like this team on paper might look better than they did the year previous. And I don't know what it is. Like my root cause keeps coming back to Daryl Sutter and his system. It just doesn't work with every player. It's a very old school, tight checking, defense first. Like that system just isn't going to work with every guy, right? And I don't think it's working specifically for Jonathan Huberdeau, who looks like a shell of himself, looks like a shell of the player he was in Florida last year. But I don't know what it is. If it's comfortability, like if it's a comfort factor, these guys are just still kind of, it doesn't happen overnight when you get traded to a new team in a completely new system where, you're so used to playing in Florida for so long with these teammates and with, this, that, and the other, all these other factors. And I'm not making excuses, but like I genuinely don't really know what I don't think there's one root cause to the drastic overturn from last year to this year, aside from, you take out Gaudreau, you take out Kachuk, you replace them with Kadri, you replace them with Huberdeau, Uyghur comes in. The Flames also last year, they did not suffer like hardly any injuries throughout the year. It was actually kind of unprecedented. The amount of man games that they lost to injury was so low. And this year they battled a bit of injury. Huberdeau was hurt for a bit. Their blue line has been depleted all year from injury. Tanev missed a bunch of time. So I just think there's been a lot more adversity too, and they haven't quite handled that as well as they should and as well as most people would have hoped. So to kind of make a long story short, I think there's a multitude of things that are contributing to it, and it's kind of difficult to just come up with one root cause because there's been so much that's seemingly been bad.
Right.
Does that kind of in a very long and
Oh, it
convoluted
does.
way.
It's just like everything.
Yeah, really though.
Everything that could go bad is going bad.
And like it seems like such a cop out answer, but like genuine. Like I'm gonna get into the chat here in a moment, but I feel like a lot of Flames fans will kind of feel the same way. And I already see one comment. Sutter's system works out really well for Milan Lucic, and that's about it. That one coming from MGD8862 in the YouTube live chat. But actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's pivot. Let's chat with our chat for a little bit here. 59 people watching. We appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. Like the stream, share the stream, subscribe to SDPN Sports on YouTube, all that good stuff that you're supposed to do when you come into someone else's stream. But we appreciate you. Let's keep the conversation going. Someone saying the Ducks stopped playing offense in the third period, and Lucic, Lewis, Ritchie see the ice that period. That is not okay for a team trying to win. I thought we were going to see the Nick Ritchie revenge tour tonight, but apparently it was.
I'm shocked. Honestly, that was probably the biggest shock is that he didn't score a goal tonight. Did you back when he was with every other team we played against him, he always scores, especially when he was with the Coyotes.
Yeah, the Flames are always the victim of the revenge tour, the familiar friends or whatever you want to call it, but they never really quite get that. Let's see what else what do we got here? According to Dom, the Flames' playoff chance drops from 42% to 28% after that loss. That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Is that accurate? I'd love to see if someone can not that I don't believe that commenter, but that's
a loss to the Ducks and it drops.
That's a 14% swing.
That's a huge draw. What?
I'm gonna say this commenter's right in the fact that they probably didn't just make this up, but
I was gonna say I believe that Dom actually said it, but I'm like,
yeah.
What's the what I need to know the reason. Which he'll probably post, or he's got like an athletic article or something,
Yeah, as he does. He's always on that stuff. Flames now 19 losses when out shooting an opponent by 10 or more shots. New NHL record, not the record you want to have. Their shots on goal, then there's throwing pucks at the net. That's a great point, and I think that's kind of been the story of the Flames. They just kind of throw the puck on net and hope for the best, and don't get too many quality shots. The Jersey Zone says, "Summer of Brad went to the winter of sad." I love it. Oh, I love that. Noah coming in with, not including 2004, the Flames have only won 2 series since 1989, which is an organizational disaster. That's crazy. The Flames obviously win the Cup in 89. They go on that run in 04, and they win 2 playoff series since then. The Honda Center. Yeah, you were right. I fucked that up big time. 2017, the Honda Center curse. Why do I feel like 2017 was like 2 weeks ago? That's
how it feels. Yeah.
Crazy how time flies.
Crazy. That's 6 years ago? No, don't tell me that. Don't
6 years ago.
That's nuts.
That is crazy. Oh,
that's nuts.
Man. Crazy. For me, it's a leadership issue. Not enough personality with leadership qualities. When Toffoli is the best leader, you're in trouble. That one coming from Black Dragon. Sutter's system. Oh yeah, we talked about that. Works really well for Lucic. Flames really missing Oliver Shillington. Huberdeau's play was depending on I'm assuming Barkov play in Florida. He's not a driver on a line. I agree and disagree with that because I think he looked good when he played with Duclair and Bennett, and I would say that he was the driver on that line in Florida when he played with those two guys. But I also do agree with he did look really good when he played with Barkov, and I mean I'm sure I would look good if I played with Barkov, and I never played I played house league hockey my entire life, so it's really not saying much. Let's see here. Sportsnet Stats tweeted out the Flames now hold the most losses in. Oh yeah, there it is. The single out shooting their opponents by 10 or more. And then one that I had, there was a graphic on the Sportsnet broadcast that said the Flames. This was before the third period started. The Flames were 0-15-3 when trailing after 40 minutes, and that now moves to 0-16-3. So the Flames have never had a come from behind win in the third period all season. They've lost 19 games when trailing going into the third, which is nuts.
I think the opposite stat of that was that the Ducks are, I think, 7-0-1 when leading after 2, which I was like, that's an interesting, tale of the tape on both sides there. But I mean, more so concerning if you're a Flames fan and you're trying to, your team's pushing for a playoff spot. Obviously those times your team wants to be able to, if you're down after 2 periods, you want to be able to put, those 40 minutes aside. Hey, just win the period, play 20 minutes of hockey, especially going into playoff hockey. If you're going to be competing for a playoff spot.
I know.
So
you're preaching to the choir.
That's a concerning stat for sure.
It's so frustrating. And just looking ahead too for the Flames, played the Ducks tonight. They play Ottawa Sunday. They play the Yotes on Tuesday, which you would think
that's a pretty light schedule.
Well, then it goes Golden Knights, Stars, Kings, Ducks again. Golden Knights, Sharks, Kings, Canucks, Ducks, Blackhawks, Jets, Canucks, Preds, Sharks. A lot of non-playoff teams in that mix.
A lot.
Which is why a lot of people who are way smarter than I am have determined that the Flames have this percentage to get into the playoffs based on the remaining schedule, which is pretty easy, you would think.
Yeah.
But then again, we are talking about the Calgary Flames, who, all due respect, just lost 3-1 in regulation to the Ducks. But yeah, you look at that schedule ahead, a lot of winnable games in there. Do you think, and we'll end with this, your thought on this, as we are running out of time on our Zoom call here. Do you think it's doable? Are the Flames still in a position, do you think now? Obviously, they're still on the outside looking in, and it's not as drastic as most people think. But your prediction, are the Flames going to make the playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. I do think that, the Pacific is obviously tight. You got the seeding for the Pacific changes, it feels like.
Oh, I know.
Every 2 days.
It's crazy.
But you're like, okay, who's first? Yeah, the Kings, Vegas, Seattle, Edmonton, but I do think they sneak in for one of those wild card spots. I mean, just looking at this schedule, despite obviously this loss has got to sting, but not only just for the fans, but for the players in that locker room as well, knowing that they're better than this. I mean, I would even argue, for the Ducks this year. Like, on paper, you look at the talent that's on that team, they really shouldn't be this bad, but here we are. And this is a Flames team. You look at the talent on paper, you're like, yo, all right, we've got the capability to win some hockey games here. We've got some capability to absolutely be at least, win the majority of how many weeks we got left, it feels like about 4 weeks left.
Yeah, pretty much a month, 4 weeks left in the regular season.
Crazy. That feels like this regular season. It was slow, but it also flew by.
Yeah.
But no, I think the Flames come out. I think they're gonna take a good majority. You look at some of these teams, and you're like, obviously the Kings. You got the Kings. You got Vegas. You got Dallas. But Winnipeg, yeah. But the rest of them should be winnable games.
You think so? You would think so.
Put the loss, pack the loss away, leave it behind you. I think the Flames are going to be all right.
I hope so. I hope you're right. You heard it here, Flames fans. The prediction, Flames.
I'm also a very positive person. So
good. That's what Flames Twitter and Flames fans need to hear more of. Hey, look, thank you so much. This has been a blast. I'm going to lose you here soon, so I'm going to tell you the floor is yours. Go ahead. Tell everybody where they can find you, what you're up to. And the floor is yours. Go, just take it away.
You can find me on social media at Sweet Annie OD on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm posting daily pretty much on those platforms. I do a lot of radio stuff for Sportsnet and things like that. But yeah, I'm just talking sports. Love hockey and baseball. Those are my main ones. Dabble into the NFL a little bit too. But yeah, love meeting fans from all over the world. So toss me a follow. Let's chat.
Yes, please do. Go and follow and get in on all this good stuff. I follow the TikTok. Lots of good TikToks. Love to see all that stuff too. So, yeah.
I gotta get a Flames jersey for my TikTok.
You do. I think that's got to be next, and we'll be following. We'll be following along to see that Flames jersey. Okay, Calgary Flames are next in action on Sunday, the 12th of March, against the Ottawa Senators. Peter Klein will have your game over call. And yeah, let's hope for a better outcome than what we saw tonight. This has been Game Over Calgary on the heels of a Calgary Flames loss 3-1 to the Anaheim Ducks. I'm Auddie James. She's Annie O'Donnell. Thank you for watching SDPN Sports Game Over. Thank you to our friends over at Sports Interaction. And if you're listening on playback, please be sure to rate, subscribe, all that good stuff that you do on your preferred podcatcher. Until then, we'll catch you on Sunday when Peter has your call against the Ottawa Senators. Stay safe, pals, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.
Game over! Powered by Sports